come out and perform at the show? Shit, yeah, I got the hottest record, I'm popping out. And I wish nigga would look at me sideways, think they gonna do anything funny. I'm with all of that. We'll boom this shit up. It'll be nasty in New York. That's how I was living back then. That's what I was on.
First episode ever.
First episode
just
ever.
Boy, you know, we still here. Got Jim Jones in the building.
I told you I told you I was only coming outside to do this. I've been to the Barclays and performed last night because the record is, shout out to New York City, that record been going crazy. So the pop outs was good. But besides that, I've been in the house for like the last 2 weeks, just sitting back, get my mind together for the new year, putting the plays together. So I have everything ready for when January hit, and I could start running on these niggas and shit. You know what I mean?
Nah, for sure. Mobile setup created by Jim Jones.
It's a fact.
Niggas wouldn't have been rapping outside the studio if it wasn't for him to this
shit,
day.
I got my own technology that I founded in AWS, acquired it and shit like that. So during the pandemic, I was able to figure out how to virtually record in real time and create albums while everybody couldn't go to the studio. So I had figured out how to put the studio on the full screen, and AWS picked it up and shit like that. So I got the technology with Amazon and shit like that I figured out something for them, what they were trying to do with some type of gaming and shit like that. And when they saw what I was doing with the virtual setup that I created, they lost their mind. So these are the type of things I'm telling you how I figure out how to think outside the box to make some shit work in the midst of desperation. When I need something, they shut the world down.
Yeah.
You can't go outside, you can't go to no venues, can't do nothing public, nobody was at work, no music was being able to be made because all the studios were shut down. Engineers are not in the same house as the artists. I was able to figure that out and was able to create 4 albums during that and make some money. Most people had to figure out how to record on themselves or get the engineers. You know, it's a difficult process.
Where you get that hustle from, though?
I grew up around nothing but hustlers. I grew up around nothing but people that knew how to get money and learn how to get money and seen nothing but getting money. I mean, I seen ups, I seen the downs, but for the most part, for me, from a baby, from as much as I can remember, was nothing but hustlers around me, from my moms to my uncles to. And then my grandma was always a working lady. My grandfather was always a hustler and a working man. So everybody around me always was about getting some chicken and things like that. And I was in the midst of the AZ, the crack era. So I seen it good, I seen it bad. Like my mom was really heavy in the game. Like it was a great time. And then it was a bad time, but
yeah, but heavy in the game, what you mean by heavy in the game?
She was heavy in the game. She was her couple of her boyfriends were real big inside of the crack era. They were very heavy, and used to take limos to school and shit like that. Christmases, the whole house filled up with Christmas gifts and the lumberjack coats that Biggie was talking about with the hat to match.
Yeah, all
that type of shit. V-bomber sheepskins with the mittens and the hats and all that shit. Desert boots, all that shit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm that type of kid, so. I just been around a lot and coming up, like everything that I was around ended up revolved around hustling. I was in the crack era where there was so much crack being sold that there was so many empty crack vials on the floor that me and my friends used to pick up the empty crack vials because there was all different colors, and he might pick up all the red vials today, I might pick up all the yellow vials, he might pick up all the purple vials, and now we emulating what we see on the block. Like, yo, we got purple, we got yellow, yo, we got purple. I grew up on Weeks Avenue. Every fucking apartment on the block of Weeks Avenue sold crack. There was like buildings with every apartment, and that shit sold crack that my friends used to live in. Like, I grew up in the spooky era, you know what I mean? And I was a child growing up in that, but I was a child that was a little bit ahead of my time, so I understood shit that I shouldn't understand at that time.
No, I love that. I think I got to go back, though, to the in-system
Go back to where you
studio. Want. You know what I'm saying? You saying you was the first person that did that. And it seemed like you was the first to do a lot of different things.
Google it.
Nah, I'm going to Google it for sure, but it's like you did a lot of things first. I know you hate to talk about the past a lot of times and shit that could have happened, but, man, I just want you to
Tell that to Soulja Boy.
Oh, man.
Tell him again.
Soulja, Jim did this one first. I think Soulja gonna come at you, and he
He
definitely.
can't. I done shit before he was even in the game. I was at Soulja Boy's first show in Atlanta, I think like at the Opera. I forgot what show it was. I was at his very first show when everybody was going crazy for this new kid named Soulja Boy doing a Superman that hoe.
You was doing the dance, or you was too gangster?
Nah, I wasn't doing the Superman.
Nah, but yeah, man, I just want to hear how that feels though. Like, where you at now? All the shit you started and not getting the checks for. Like, what stands out? Which brand? What? Like?
No, I'll tell you a story. The most funny story would be True Religion. I am the first rapper to put on a pair of True Religion
Hey, yo,
jeans.
Jen, you're not gonna keep with this first talk,
wholeheartedly.
man.
I mean, like these niggas don't even know what True Religion was. My brother brought them jeans home one day when I got in the house. He threw them on the bed. They from Bloomingdale's. He's like, "Yo, throw those on, man. Them shit's just $300 jeans. This is one $300 jeans were the equivalent to Amiri's $1,200 jeans. Those niggas wasn't buying $300, $400 jeans. He like, put those on. I flipped them open. They had the dope stitching. And then it was bell bottoms. And then they had a stitch going across. He like, man, put them shits on, man. Give a fuck about no bell bottoms. These shit's $300 jeans. Niggas, rich nigga shit right here. I'm like, man, I don't like the bell bottom part. He like, yo, bro, listen to me. Listen to your brother, nigga. I get fly too. They gonna be on this. Sure enough, I put them shits on. And then they went from having the shit across, striped across, and me and Joel used to go to the cleaners and make them and tailor them to the way we fitted. Then True Religion started making the Billy jeans. When they made the Billy jeans, it was over after that. We weren't, and then from there we were the first person to wear a pair of antique denims. Niggas did not know what they was. I didn't know what they was. I got them shits. Well, Chrissy brought them shits for me in Miami when we was down there shopping downtown. 04, 05, shit like that, you dig? She was like, nah, these shits is fire. These shits look like some old school cowboy type of shits. And them shits fitted mad slim. Them was the slimmest jeans that ever fit. She like, nah, them shits look good. And I just met her, so I'm trying to go off of what she like. I'm like, they look good. She like, nah, them shits look good. I'm like, these shits is tight. The fuck? I'm like, even with the chrome hearts, niggas did not know what chrome hearts was. I didn't know what chrome hearts was. You heard? Like, but Chrissy knew what Chrome Hearts was. She saw the wallet chain I had. She like, oh, you like that rock and roll shit? She like, oh, you got to get the Chrome Hearts shit. That's the big boy shit. That's what Tommy be wearing all that. I'm like, what? We went in there and the tank top was 600. I almost fainted. Like, what? This is a Fruit of the Loom tank top. What do you mean? Like 600. She like, yeah, that's that big boy shit. This what they wearing on stage. I'm like, what? So it was like, wow. And that's how I learned about Chrome and started getting more into the rock and roll look with my lady who I had met in Miami at the time. And then I started running with my man Zoe at the time. And by the time I got down there with the Chain Gang, my man Zoe was already on Chrome Heart shit too. He was like the only other person I knew beside Chrissy that was on Chrome Heart. But he's backing out chains that cost $3,000-$4,000. Cuffs that cost $5,000. All this is all silver, all silver shit. This is back in 04, 05, shit like that.
I can't believe you were spending that type of money on drip. But you met Chrissy in Miami?
She from Harlem, but I met her in Miami.
Okay, so she was like she was like a stylist for you when y'all met.
She wasn't a stylist. She just was always fly. Like Chrissy was one of the flyest girls in Harlem. One of the girls that, not just me, most of the niggas in Harlem grew up, had a crush on her and shit like that, you dig? So in passing, I would see her here, see her there, parties, Puffy, all this type of shit, always see her around, but I never knew her and shit like that. She would see me, say hi, and then one day we in Miami and I'm partying with Zoe, walking there, and I almost fainted, like, yo, so he didn't know why I was going crazy, but in my mind, I'm like, oh my God. So that was a great moment for me, and that was like a big score for me. I was young. It was dope.
Yeah. At that age, you obviously lit. You having your way. You could have anybody that you wanted. But was it that stood out besides looks that Chrissy had that made you be like, yo, this is the one I want to, you know what I'm saying, spend forever with?
She didn't tolerate nothing none of the other bitches would tolerate. Like I remember we in a club one day, like you said, I'm lit, I'm having my way. And I'm trying to talk to another girl, but be slick about it. And Chrissy's in the back in the booth and shit like that. And then I had Zoe tapping on my shoulder like, boy, she just left the club. You better go get her. I'm like, yo, why you left the club? Yo, I'm like, yo, get my credit. I just run out the fucking chasing out the club. Like, yo. And I was like, man, she a different type, because any other girl I was with They wouldn't even.
Yeah, they would just stuck around and looked like a
They
goofy.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then she was always known for standing on business. She come from a world of hustlers too. Like she ain't no chump. Like, you know what I mean? Like she a big deal in Harlem. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She like
I see how
she's
proud you are.
She a little older than me, so her era was like right before me, and the glory days of all the Rich Porters and all that type of shit. That's her days.
Yeah. You know, as I see y'all relationship, obviously public, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you with somebody long enough and y'all got shared bank accounts, y'all got houses together, y'all got everything together, why is the world stuck on like traditional?
Well,
What that means to you?
Traditional is the marriage that we all know. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's what every woman wants, and that's what every man should want to give a woman, and that's what I want to give my lady. But spiritually and commitment-wise, marriage is about a bond. Having somebody that's going to be there no matter what, like understand the circumstances, whether it's good or bad. Like, it's a certain chemistry that comes with that bond and shit like that. Like, a lot of people marry for so many stupid reasons that so many marriages end up getting divorced and things like that.
Right.
I come from a day where you get married, that's who you with forever. And my commitment is of that also, because when I'm with a person, that's who I'm with. I didn't have too many girlfriends in my life and shit like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, but my lady's a dope lady, and what we got is heaven sent, and she deserves the world, you know what I mean? And for me, I put my whole life on TV and all this shit, so naturally, everybody's gonna have something to say, because that's what it's there for and shit like that,
Right.
you know what I mean? It used to bother me a lot. Now I don't even pay it attention, because that shit serves no purpose in my relationship, you know what I mean?
What stops you from doing it
Nothing
the
stops
traditional
me.
way?
We about to get it going.
Y'all about to get it going?
Yeah.
Here you hear it first. Respectfully, Justin Laboy Show, Jim
I can't
Wedding.
tell you this, that time don't lie, man. You know what I mean? Like, you dig, and sooner or later we all gotta do what we need to do and shit like that.
2025 gonna be a great year.
Yeah, 2025 gonna be a busting year.
I need that invite because you just announced it here. It's about to happen. I'm pulling up.
Definitely
Shit about to go up. Putting my dancing shoes on.
Definitely bring some dancing shoes.
As I studied, like I did my homework. I didn't want to show up ever to no interview with somebody that I look up to, and be empty about it. And I just feel like loyalty is the one word that describes you.
Yeah.
What would you? I want you to define loyalty, though.
I mean, loyalty and stupidity run neck and neck. Remember I told you that. When you become loyal to a flaw, it starts to become a problem. You heard? And at that point, it's a stupid thing to do. You know what I mean? It serves you no purpose in the journey you set out to and whatever you was loyal to and shit like that. You know what I mean? There's like so many different variables. But for the cause, shit, I was in it wholeheartedly and I'm still in it wholeheartedly. I'm still holding the flag up. It never stopped for me and things like that. You know what I mean? I had a little touchy situation and shit like that, but there was a time where we always loyal to what we needed to be loyal to, and it worked, because everybody got to leave out with something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was the most dopest part as I look back. We all got to leave out and be our own man on our own accord with our own successes and make our own money and don't have to need from nobody else and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The interview you did with Flex a couple years ago.
All right.
I'm like super surgical with anything that I look at. And you said things took a turn when Dame named Cam vice president of Rocafella without consulting with his partners. Yeah, for him.
For that whole little rock. Remember, I'm not part of Rockefeller. I was a diplomat wholeheartedly. I wasn't signed to them with nothing. I signed to Koch independently, my own shit. I was just me.
Right.
I was my own entity, even though I was a quote-unquote so-called diplomat CEO. But I didn't have any paperwork. And at that point, it just, you would think certain people would take care of you better as a partner than the way you got treated.
Yeah. How much does that shit hurt you still to this day?
I don't care about it. If I was down, maybe I might be swinging in the air like when Ricky died and shit like that. You heard? But yeah, man, shit, like life happens and shit like that. I mean, like,
I'm gonna keep pressing you on this though, because I know that cancer intuition that you got. Like I
I
knew
just-
you
just
caught
know-
I knew you caught on
just-
at some point before anybody told you anything. And I just want to know
would
like
say
that story.
I caught on before we was even famous.
What you mean?
I'm great at reading people's characteristics. I'm a very spiritual person, and I know who's who when I encounter them. And if you give me enough time around, you understand exactly who you are. You heard it, and I got to understand exactly how I need to use you in my life, or I don't need to be next to you. And at that point in my life, it was only two decisions. It was either go to the street or play your position. Yeah, nigga, you a boss, and you helped put everything together. This whole shit started in my grandmother's house. Mace, Cam, Bloodshed, all of that shit started out my grandmother's house. Everybody got signed living with me in my grandmother's house, with me, not with them. They was all living with me. This where the whole nucleus and everything started from right then and there, shit like that. And moving forward and shit like that, I had a decision to make over childish things that I seen people be doing childish things and shit like that. And I was like, well, if this is what you want, if you feel this is gonna be your way out of this hell we living in, which was Harlem, you dig?
Yeah.
At the time, out of the hood, out of the projects, you have to play your position and shut the fuck up and do your job as a complete soldier and make sure nothing happened on your watch. And that's all you could do. And can't nobody hold nothing against you for that. And that's what I chose to do. And
So you seen this shit before it happened, is what you tell, like everything.
Mm-hmm. It started with Mace. He didn't do the right thing.
That's the one question I wanted to ask you. I'm a little bit too young to understand. Like I just was able to be like able to be like a teen. Like
I watched Mace shit on Cam and everybody around him.
Wow.
A bitch like all the time. You heard? Like I was there the whole time, but
Shit
I
on
was
him.
Cam's man. You heard? Cam and Mace were so-called best friends, grew up together, and R.I.P. Huddy. Like I was there for everything. That's the one thing that people can't never say is that I wasn't there for every single thing.
What was your problem with Mace? Like how did that all happen? Because that was Cam, man, like you said.
Cam enemies were my enemies.
Okay.
Anybody Cam didn't like, I didn't like. And I already see how he was handling Cam, so I definitely didn't like him. You dig? And then I seen how much love Cam had for him and how Cam was jumping out the window for him, which a friend should and shit like that. Like, being overprotective, making sure nothing happened. Like, he was trying his best to make sure that Mace stayed as safe as possible, but Mace had got that money and lost his motherfucking mind, as he's supposed to, man. He grew up in a kid that doesn't have what most of us had. He was probably more or less fortunate than most of us. Didn't have the sneakers, didn't have all that shit coming up. So him having the first bit of success out of all of us and really get into a bag, he just went crazy like most people do and shit like that. Shit, I had my times where I went crazy with that bag. It just be too much.
Yeah.
You dig? But the people I loved, I still love them today. You know what I mean? The people that I consider to be the ones that's gonna help me in this journey, I still love them today, and we still have great relationships and shit like that. It ain't got nothing to do with Cam and them and shit like that. We all have our own group of people that help us along with this journey and shit like that.
So now that you see Cam and Mace together having their own show, how did that shit make you feel when you seen them come together after everything that you did?
I seen crazier shit happen. I know brothers that shot brothers and shit like that. So for friends to get back after a world of whatever they went through, it's not surprising to me and shit like that. But I see they don't talk about the days of being shit on, you heard? They don't talk about the things that separated them and shit like that. So, it's funny. But kudos to them, man. They got a dope show. Who am I to hate on what they got going on, man? I hope they make $1 trillion.
What's the craziest shit you seen Mace do to Cam that was just like, yo, I can't believe these niggas could even get back cool after some shit like that?
I won't say nothing crazy, but I say some funny shit that I seen happen. I seen Mace fire his brother, kick him out the limo in the middle of the highway and shit like that. You heard? His old brother. That nigga's vicious. But he coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. 'Cause he was on the road. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and shit like that. Get off the plane. He coming back off the road from, I think, a bunch of tours and And Mace got the brand new Mercedes drop burgundy, pull up to the airport. Skirt, the car dealer bringing that shit outside the airport. Two-door joint, brand new stickers on that bitch. That nigga going crazy, right? Joking and shit like that with Cam and shit. That nigga jumped in the shit by himself with skirt off. I said, yeah, this
Get
nigga,
the fuck out
this
of
nigga
here.
is a different type of animal. This nigga don't care about nothing. Word up. Nah, then he had us on the road with him because this was Cam started doing the hype man for him, and then we started doing some tours. I would be hyping Cam, so now I come out. So now he got us hyping both of them. Nigga had us doing dance moves, like coordinated dance moves on the speaker and shit like that. I never forget this shit, like matching outfits, coordinated dance moves, like what show? Or Cam bust out that shit like, we ain't doing this shit no more. Fuck all these niggas, man. Fuck everybody, man. We're gonna kill one of these niggas. That was the last time we seen them until it is what it is, you heard?
Keeping it Cam right now. He just did the interview with 50.
For the younger audience, we had like a rap battle thing at one time. And 50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page. Right. So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to your show.
Them niggas be on my dick, right? Them niggas ain't got nothing else to think about but Capo. I did a lot for them niggas in their life. You heard? Both of them. Pause, though. Get off of my dirt. There's only space on there for baby girl, man. Come on, man. Tugging on my shit like that.
Yo, you never clear shit up, and we never hear your side of the story. Cam was like, I thought we could pull it together. Next thing I know, I see Jim performing with 50.
That nigga ain't think nothing. He could pull nothing together. He couldn't do nothing with me. He couldn't tell me nothing, nigga. Like, let's not get this shit twisted. Like, nigga, nobody could tell me nothing, nigga. I was my own boss. I did what I did as a fucking soldier, because I was a soldier, nigga. You heard? I had the soldiers, niggas. Niggas didn't tell me nothing. You heard? I did what I wanted to do. I seen the shit wasn't going right, so I started doing what Jim Jones needed to do for Jim Jones, because the nigga that was supposed to be the Don wasn't taking care of the capo. Started feeling like the Gotti movie, you heard?
But what was the point where you realized I'm gonna have to do what the fuck I gotta do, because this shit.
I mean,
there was definitely the last straw.
There's nothing in my memory like, yo, that was the last straw, but it was just the sequence of the way things was going, and then it came to a point where I had to worry about who Jim Jones was moving forward. Then I was worried about anybody else, because nobody else was worried about me. I got to a point where I became famous too. There was a point where all the famous people know me. Then after that, it was like, shit, I'm just as famous as all the famous people. I can't do what I used to do for you. You heard? Somebody got to do that for me right now, because I'm super lit. You heard? But I put my life on the line for all of the shit, and you know, and everybody knew that. But niggas wasn't doing the same thing in return.
What's something that stands out to you, though, when you realize niggas really wasn't for you? I know you say you've been seen it, but there's a moment, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Wherever that concert is.
When you start to feel like somebody want to see you do good, but not as good as them, you're like, oh yeah, I know what this move is about. You heard? Everybody don't got the mind of a real leader.
Who reached out to who when you went out to perform? Cause
I had Ballin'. I had the hottest record at the time. My record was hotter than 50's records at the time when Ballin' spanked out and shit like that. When Cam did this shit with calling the station up over the cot shit and all that shit, I felt that was childish. That wasn't, like, you don't press no real buttons, and you're not about to come outside when it's time to really get active, nigga. So how dare you do some weak shit like that really didn't hold no merit? Like, you start going crazy over Koch, over a white man that been jerking us since we got signed there, and whatever backdoor deals you had with him serves you more advantageous than it served me. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, so when that shit went on, I was like, that was kind of weak. That was corny, because at that time, there was no real beef. We was just the most powerful groups of individuals that's running New York at the same time. So in my mind, I was like, it's more advantageous for us to try to figure out how us to start to move and do tours and really go crazy and figure out, because that we were sizzling, but this nigga was on Mars, nigga. These niggas wasn't doing regular shit. These niggas was doing fucking arenas every night. We doing clubs every night. We got the city and the urban communities on fire and shit like that. In my mind, I see an opportunity for us to really start, You heard? Like,
Yeah.
we had all the power and shit like that. My mind ran different and shit like that. So when he did that, I'm like, damn, that fucked all that up. You heard? And then it was like, now you want to start a beef with these niggas over what, though?
So you never understood why he started beef with them?
Nah, I didn't understand that. I heard what the nigga said, oh, Koch was a graveyard and all this type of shit. I didn't give a fuck about none of that type of shit. You heard? Like, and it really hit me. I was on fire at that time. I don't care about what you say and shit like that. We on an independent label getting stupid though. Like, we did shit that nobody did in the game. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, that shit was whack. I don't like how this shit is going. I gotta start really doing shit that's gonna benefit me, because niggas will seem like you won't want to see nobody else win.
Right.
And I need to win. I gotta win in spirit. So, you heard? I didn't put all this work in for nothing. You dig? I didn't teach myself how to rap for nothing. I didn't jump all on this game to be famous for nothing. I need to capitalize and be just as famous as the most famous, most successful, rich person in this game also. I'm now in the game.
I still gotta know, like, how did that work? You performing, like.
They called me like, yo, you want to come out and perform at the show? Shit, yeah. I got the hottest record. I'm popping out. And I wish a nigga would look at me sideways, think they gonna do anything funny. I'm with all of that. We'll boom this shit up. It'll be nasty in New York. That's how I was living back then. That's what I was on. I wasn't on nobody's friendship. I was in there like a pirate. What's up? What's up? That's how I was. You dig? Like, hope everybody be calm, because y'all know this shit gonna go way left real quick. You dig? I'm here for what I need out this shit.
Right.
It's that crowd to hear me do balling, and let me get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so it wasn't no deep thought. Like, this is like, nigga, it's an opportunity. I gotta go.
Yeah, I wasn't going there to do nothing genuine at all. Them niggas couldn't even dress. But he had a platform for me to perform on in front of thousands of people in New York. Yeah, I'm taking that. I'm popping out.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about not knowing how to dress, there's a nigga named Lil Yachty that start talking crazy. I got the clip. I gotta pull this clip up.
Nah, not rap, like real life shit.
Oh, as far as style goes, I mean,
Thug
y'all
Name
got
is
it.
six.
I don't think it's shit going on when it comes to like New York fashion. So like
New York fashion, like
as far as like y'all like purple label, purple and like a Mary.
I saw it. Yachty called my phone after that. Like, yo, bro, I don't know what I was thinking. People took that shit way wrong. Like I was like, that shit don't really mean nothing.
You know the name of his podcast, where he got that from, right?
From you?
Absolutely. What's your thoughts though when you think people think New York City fashion fell off? Like,
they can never fall off. We create the aesthetic for what everybody's wearing still to this day. Shit, in the past 20 years, me and Kanye created two aesthetics that can't be taken away. You either dressing like him, or you kind of dressing like me, or you kind of mixing the two together. It ain't no, you know what I mean? And Kanye even started dipping on my side of the field, because he started with backpacking and polo and Tom Ford and all that. And then he started going into ripped up hoodies and dark clothes and all that type of shit. That's all representation of this rock star lifestyle, baby. Like, you dig? Like, that's that grunge look, like, and that's what I specialize in. That's what I brought to the table. I always liked the way that white boys dressed when I was coming up. Pause, ayo, like, you dig? Like Eddie Bauer, all that type of shit used to.
Eddie Bauer,
you dig? Like, it just was a
movement.
different flex we was looking for coming up and shit like that. I never really got what everybody else got. Sometimes I didn't have the money for it, so I figured out the way to do some shit that make niggas go, oh, he killed that, or sometimes I just didn't want to look like, most of the times I didn't want to look like people. So I understood the playing field, and I watched what go on, and then I put my own mix to it, where you will understand, oh, he caught that. He went wild with that.
I never seen you go too far though.
Nah, because it wasn't about one. This is hip hop.
Niggas started painting their nails in hip hop.
This is where the disconnect for me and what been going on. Even like with Weezy. Weezy went way farther than what he took from us. Like, he started out with this rock and roll lifestyle, skull and bone thing you did, but that was never a rock and roll thing. I just admired how the rock stars looked, but I never was wearing everything they wore. I was taking bits and pieces and kept the Air Force Ones on, kept the Jordans on, kept the Constructions on, good belt game. The chain gangs started being fly. Like, they had a lot of, but I always kept it hip hop. You heard? It just was a different hip hop bop. You didn't see like, oh, this nigga looking weird like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, this nigga, you dig? Like, you never thought that. When niggas see me on 106 in Park, you was like, oh, this nigga got a mean bop. That shit he be having on his cold. But it was shit that you could acquire. Like, oh, he got the Air Force Ones on. What kind of jeans is those?
Yeah.
Oh, he had a snakeskin leather jacket. Both like you dig. Like it was everything that we represented uptown, but on steroids. So now I got on the $6,000 jacket on 106 in Park with the $400 jeans, but I still got the Air Force Ones on. And then we got the B. Like you dig. Everything was still a hip hop bop. But now I'm seeing like it's too much. Like when niggas is wearing funny Rick Owens shit and shit like that, and all this wild shit is like, yo, bro, that's not really hip hop. That's rock and roll. Like that's goth. That's not what we represent. That's not dope boy couture. That's not dope boy fly. Like you dig. Like I wear Ricky too, but I ain't wearing Ricky kicks. I'm not doing it. That's not my. That's not a thing for me. You dig. No disrespect to none of y'all. I feel they look like Ronald McDonald shoes. My feet don't. My feet. No disrespect. But that's the way. But that's the way. But then again, these kids are taking fashion out of hand because nobody got no creativity. Like if niggas got on Ricky, they got Ricky everything on, looking wild. Like that's not. Or they got Louis everything on, look like they just overdoing it and they don't even look. You don't look as fly as you think you look. You heard? Like fashion is all about who you are. Like it's not everybody be fitting in. The object is to stand out.
When you in Dipset, is it like got all three coming together to do this shit, or is like one person as the leader is like, nah, well, this what we wearing?
I created the aesthetic.
Okay.
For the diplomats. You heard? Dan the Cam's pink. You heard? He'll tell you.
Nah.
All right. Sooner or later, he gonna have to tell it. Where he got the pink from.
That shit just fucked up my childhood. Somebody bring me a shot.
If I'm lying, I'm flying.
Bring me a shot, please.
You can ask Damon, you can ask Cam, because those were the two people that were snapping on me when I came in and didn't get my truck.
Wow. That's some shit. Down to the pink.
Mm-hmm. I was supposed to get the caddy truck when I first got the diplomat deal. I came to the office, I had on the pink Diodoras with the pink stripe, the pink polo shirt on.
Diodora shit was,
you heard?
That shit was a
and
different type of movement.
The pink was just lighting up the room, but the truck didn't get delivered, so they just kept snapping on me like, oh, this thing got all this fly shit, no motherfucker. Or Cam was like, I'm taking that pink, I'm running with this shit. He like, I'm running with it. That shit fly. I'm going crazy with it. That was Killer Cam at the time. You heard? Like whatever fits what we need, then that's what we gonna do. You heard? But that was Easter colors. I've been doing pink every Easter. Gray and pink, gray suit, pink tie. My mom's been putting me in pink and shit like that. Future and all that type of shit. Pink has always been my color.
That's a great story. You could bring the shot. You come on camera. Come collect your fame, baby.
You want a shot too?
No, baby, I'm cool.
Drink it till tomorrow. We're gonna have to drink tomorrow. We're gonna toast to that same rosé. So when y'all performed at the Apollo with Drake, is this something still where y'all gonna like come together and get some money when the situation?
I can always get on stage with anybody. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm tough. Care about none of that shit, bro. If it's for the bag, I'm gonna go. You gotta ask them other niggas if they gonna go. If it's for the bag, means Joel's gonna pop up. Zeke too.
How did that feel when Drake brung y'all out? Like, what was your thoughts on that?
That was super dope. You heard? That was dope for all of us. That was dope for the set. That was dope for the city. That was dope for Harlem. That was big, man. I mean, whatever's going on, Drake's still the biggest artist that we known to this day, period. I mean, beats everybody we could think about down to Michael Jackson statistically and shit like that, so.
Yeah, you know, I gotta ask you though, what's your thoughts on the whole Drake Kendrick situation?
I'm Drake my man, you dig? Like, I ain't got no beef with Kendrick and shit like that, you dig? But Drake my nigga, you dig?
Are you able to still, even though that's your nigga, you able to like judge like, you know, who won the battle, not life and shit like that, but who you think won that?
I with my niggas all the time, you heard? I don't even get into that shit, you dig? Shout out to Kendrick and them and shit like that, you dig? And not to say it like that, like I'm not OVO, none of that type of shit. Like, don't be calling me every day and shit like that. You dig? Like I just fuck with Drake. I like his soul. Like that's a person that I had real conversations with, as opposed to I don't have no relationship with Kendrick and shit like that. You dig? And Kendrick is from the West Coast. You dig? And it's just love. I know we got people that we both know and I mean shit, but I really have a relationship with Babe Bro. So you know what I mean? Okay. And I don't get into all of that. It is what it is. It's hip hop. Niggas been battling for years and shit like that. You dig? Nah, them niggas is both filthy rich. Ain't nothing gonna. And I think they both be alright. You heard?
Yeah. But then when it comes to the lawsuit shit, I
mean, I don't think that that's something that I would do.
Yeah.
You heard? But then again, I'm not at that level. I don't know if I ever be at that level to understand the reasons of why he did that. You dig? Like, there's a lot of things that go on with somebody doing a power move like that. Like anytime a person like that does some shit that he knows gonna be, it's like it ain't just small fries and shit like that.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with social media, people make everything seem smaller than what it is and shit like that, and quick to say whatever and shit like that. I mean, whatever it is, man, that's not my field and shit like that. You dig? If it works in his favor, I hope it do and shit like that. You know what I mean? But I don't think that him doing that with business is no reflection of the streets.
Okay.
And he doesn't feel to me like he is a street person like that. But I think that's two different things. That's straight business and shit like that. He's dealing with Spotify, some shit like that.
Yeah, Spotify, UMG, some whole
Yeah,
other.
like I didn't hear him say he was suing Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't hear him say he was suing somebody personally and shit like that. Nigga, if I seen people sue AT&T and Pepsi and get a bag for it.
Right.
You heard? Like people win lawsuits all the time against companies and nobody hold that against them. Niggas like, oh, they got that lawsuit money. That nigga already balling. I never heard a nigga be like, oh, this nigga, oh, he sued a nigga. Oh, you suing niggas now for that money? I never heard that. So when we think about it, it's like, yo, is it any different than him suing Walmart?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not to put, I really don't care either or and shit like that, but thinking about what it is, like, come on, man. Niggas sue for people for dollars all the time.
I ain't gonna lie though. I want Drake and Kendrick to get back cool. Hopefully that's in the works.
I mean, I think it can happen. I ain't see nobody die or fall out or anything like that. They two power brokers in the game. I think it'd be more advantageous down the line for them getting back together and doing something for hip hop that'll probably be one of the biggest anything, even if it's a handshake, it'd be the biggest handshake that we've seen in the past 20 years. You know what I mean? Like,
what's the chances of you, Cam, and Mace getting back?
I don't think it's really gonna happen. We're two different type of people and shit like that. We always have. Competitive nature always been first before friendship. Remember, Cam, my man. It's not.
So it's not you.
I took the position of my position. Cam is my partner. I'm not his artist. I was the CEO of Diplomats. I made Diplomats with him. I was with him for every bit of his journey. I held him down. I took that position of holding him down. I'm not his soldier. You heard? I'm his partner. But in the journey that we had to take, I had to do what was needed, nigga. That's why I played my position. And that's why I'm able to be here and have a conversation with you, because I did what I was supposed to do. If I didn't, I don't think I'd be able to have this much success or this good grace. We just on two separate sides of the fence. You heard? Like, they do what they do, and I do what I do. I'm very different from them, my brother. You heard? Like, very different. For real. You did? Yeah. Like, way different than them and shit like that. And I ain't here to put nobody business out there, none of that type of shit. I'm not that type of nigga. I ain't here to talk down on them niggas. Yeah. I don't care. Them niggas know what I do. You heard? And they know what I've done. And they could dance around it all they want and shit like that, joking, but they know, nigga, if I get upset, it's gonna be a real problem. And I can tell you about times that I did get upset. And I can tell you about times that they don't want me to talk about. You heard? The both of them. You dig? Like, this shit ain't no game. They can't play with me too much. I give them the floor to do that because that serves me no purpose. I got too much shit to worry about, too much shit to do. I'm trying to get to a real bag, a real different type of bag, and I'm trying to help out more than I took. You heard? See, that's where I'm at right now in life. I'm trying to give more than I took, because I got to take a lot in life. You heard? And where I'm going, me giving is gonna help me get.
You just popped out at the Barclays with the young niggas.
Yeah.
That energy, fun. That Harlem record, that shit
fun.
Shaking the streets in a different way. I still can't believe you're the only artist I've ever seen get better as you got older.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you get better with age as an artist? You know, because most artists stop caring. You know what I'm saying? They kind of live off the legacy shit. And you not letting your foot off the gas.
It was more urgent for me. The lifestyle I live, I want to continue to live that lifestyle. And when I figured out I want to continue to do music, it was like, yo, if you're going to do it, you really got to step up above and beyond so people can hear you, because it ain't no other way it's going to work. Man, when I came back to New York, I tell this to everybody, it was Fred the Godson that really
rest in peace.
Gave me a lot of inspiration. Every night I would see him in the studio, and I'm still not knowing what I was doing. He's like, bro, you need to get in that booth, bro. Niggas fuck with you. Like, niggas fuck with you. You need to just go crazy. Like he was like egging me on like every night. And I started getting in the booth. I just started boxing. And then he was like, yeah, you getting it, champ. You getting it, champ.
Yeah. Who do you think is the next biggest thing out of New York City?
I would say King Streets, hands down. I would like, you dig? Like, I put the house up on them. I put all the jewelry I got on
For
right now.
Rockaway, King Streets, what's up? Yeah. And all these artists though that be self-indicting themselves and calling niggas rats. We like, this shit is bad. Niggas is putting themselves in jail.
Yeah, it's
man.
different. I mean, the whole culture of doing crime is different now. As I'm watching the youngsters coming up, the idea was to get away with the crimes. It seems like these youngsters are doing crimes and put it on Instagram for the world to see. I think that's the cool thing to do. I'm glad that we didn't have IG and none of that back in the days. I don't know if maybe we would have been trying to do the same silly shit. Just watching these kids now just crash out and just putting it all on social media. It's like, it's just wild out there, shit like that. Like, everything we did was to get away with it. The object was not to get locked up at all for no reason. I mean, and we thought that being locked up from the hood was a rite of passage, like coming up. Like, I've never been locked up in my life. I never did a bid. Let's not say that. I never did a bid.
Praise God,
like that.
praise God.
Praise God and shit like that. But that's what we thought. Like, you become a man, you heard it, and I believe but it's even crazier now. Like, you dig? Like, they ain't going to that shit like it's boarding school or like it's a hotel for the weekend. Like, these kids don't got no regard for
I feel like niggas feel
anything.
like empty and shit. Like, yeah, I'm talking all this gangster shit, but if I don't go to jail, niggas will never believe this shit. It's almost like an accomplishment
it's like,
now.
Yeah, it's wild out there, man. I mean, I don't know what would be my position coming up in this era and shit like that, as far as me making my way and figuring it out and shit like that. This shit is crazy.
Do you think being in a relationship saved you from a lot of trouble?
Yeah, being in a relationship saves you from a lot, especially when you have a strong woman on your side and shit like that. But trouble follows you. Can't nothing really save you from trouble. You know what I mean? Time don't lie. And trouble is a motherfucker. You know what I mean? Especially when that's what you projected. And there was a long time in my career where that's what I was projecting.
You know, I know you got the Vamp Life Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Vamp
You know what I'm
Kids.
saying? Shout out to Vamp Kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I locked in. I kind of see, you know, all the community work you've been doing.
Yeah, I'm doing something dope, actually. Like I said, I do it selflessly, man. Whatever I could do to help the community or help the kids, like that, it's no better feeling. Like I was able to create a program for kids with Reebok that's supposed to happen in the beginning of the new year. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but I was talking about something on one of these shows where these big companies and brands should figure out a way to give back to these kids at high schools and shit like that, according to their academics and athletics and attendance and things like that. Like, give them a chance to get this drip, because that should be so expensive. And if they give you certain type of grades, then maybe they should be able to get a discount or a certain amount of points. And the owner of Reebok heard it. The interview told Shaq to call me. And then Shaq was like, nigga, put this shit together. So I ended up putting up a whole program together for 2 high schools that we're doing in New York, starting with 2 high schools as a catalyst.
How many kids do you got total?
I don't know how many kids are in the high school, but it's 2 high schools, one in Brooklyn and one in Harlem that we're starting with. So every kid in the high school has a chance to redeem these points that they'll be able to get free items from off. I think it's Reebok, Nautica, a few others that are involved with it and shit like that. You know what I mean? Things I wish we had, like, nigga, I'll bust an A to get a free pair of sneakers every report card.
Absolutely. You know, I'm Justin Laboy, the king of toxic. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to always, you know what I'm saying, get to the love and relationships and all that's my favorite shit to kind of get into. But, you know, it's a lot of niggas out here that's not doing the right thing for the women that they in relationships with. I want you to let the fellas out there know how important it is to invest in your woman. Let them know, because it is
if you find the right woman that's worth investing in. It's tricky out there right now as I'm watching and how these ladies are carrying themselves and shit like that. Like, I mean, yeah, we all had them type of women and shit like that, but I come from an R&B era, so.
You was crying, you was on your Keith Sweat crying for pussy shit.
Gangsters was listening to R&B music back when I was coming up. You heard? Like, it was a little bit more chivalry left when we was coming up. I think we like the last last era that kind of really catered to the women and shit like that. I don't even really hear no R&B music outside no more. Everybody's about getting lit and baddie in the bag and shit like that. So
R&B dead.
when you're dealing with a generation of females that are more concerned about the bag than they are concerned about the man, then it's like, well, how can you force a man to go over and above and beyond for a woman if they feel like all these bitches are doing the same thing?
Damn, that went completely different.
And that's to take nothing away from the woman. I don't want nobody to start bashing me. Men ain't shit. We know that. I come from the beginning of time. We're natural predators. It come with the territory. You dig? I'm not sticking up for any men, but I am saying that men ain't stupid neither. We do know naturally you're supposed to be the breadwinners to take care of women and shit like that, but nobody wants to be used. And if you are being used, you want to be used in the right way. You don't want to be misused and shit like that. And there's a lot of women that's misusing these niggas out here right now. And some of these niggas are weak enough to let the women do it and shit like that. And that's the problem. Most of these niggas don't have no game or never been in a position to even get with any chick. So they fuck it up by giving them what they want, and that's the money in the bag and shit like that, just so they could get some ass and shit like that. You heard? I'm from the era, man. The pussy is free, but the crack costs money. You heard? Like, we wasn't trying to pay for nothing. You dig? Like, I mean, naturally, as a man, when you get to know a female, that shit come with the territory and shit like that. You got a couple dollars and shit like that, you're gonna take care of the woman that's with you at the time and shit like that. You know what I mean? But out here, everything's about the bag. There's a lot of prostitution going on out here, both ways. You heard? Like,
so before you got into a serious relationship,
there's a lot of purse
Jim
holes
wasn't
out here.
Nobody got a story about Jim tricking.
I'm from Harlem. We don't trick. I got tricked on and shit like that, but we don't trick.
Whoa. Fuck you mean you got tricked on?
I'm about females. Females used to buy me a lot of things when I was coming out. Like, I used to get new shit every day from females. I used to get fly and shit like that. Bitches used to buy me whole outfits every day, shit like that.
Nowadays, they call you a bum-ass nigga for taking gifts from women.
They call you a bum-ass nigga nowadays?
Absolutely.
These niggas ain't got no game. You heard? Like, these niggas is weak out here.
What type of shit you saying that's getting you gifts?
I'm a Harlem nigga. I am from Harlem. We do not know about tricking. I am a city slicker. Most country niggas are the ones that be tricking. You heard? That's why they talk about it in their records and they talk about it in their interviews and they, Marissa got the Audi and Bella got the Rollie. You know, like, what? More than one bitch got to watch like that? Oh, you tripping. Like, you dig? Like.
So you never met a random joint and just say, fuck, I'm going to blow a bag on her, ever?
Ever. Chrissy. You heard?
As a man, somebody's out there right now, they watching this interview, and you have somebody that you love.
Take care of them.
What do you do as a man, though, to get the best out of your woman? Like, we need step by step, as you said. Niggas is growing up without fathers. Niggas is growing up without fathers. Niggas don't got leaders.
And not your wig pushed back.
Yeah, you gotta give us the 10 crack commandments of the game. Like, what's a way?
You gotta know that you're taking care of yourself before you take care of anybody else. You heard?
Okay.
If you're not a responsible man and you're already having problems in your life as being a man, you can't get your bills paid, you fucking up the hustle, you never can re-up right, like, then it's gonna the relationship ain't gonna be no better.
So broke niggas should stay single.
I wouldn't say broke niggas should stay single. I would say irresponsible niggas definitely should stay single. You heard? Because a broke nigga just might be down on his luck, but he might be a responsible person and know how to treat a woman. You heard? Yeah. Money don't equate to everything in this in a relationship and shit like that. Yeah, you do need money to take care of a woman and shit like that. You dig? I would say that's the number one thing yet. But there are women that's willing to ride it out, you dig? And if you're a responsible person and she understands you got ambition, then that shit works for you. But they got a lot of suckers out here that don't understand how to take care of a woman. They don't even buy girls flowers no more. I don't see that shit going on too much. Man,
let's talk about that.
You heard?
Why niggas stop buying flowers, though?
I still get flowers to this day, bro. You heard? Like, I still go buy flowers to this day and bring them shits home.
How long y'all been together?
20 years.
And you still buying flowers?
Still buying flowers to this day. You dig? Like, you have a woman, you got to treat her as such. Like, you got to damn near figure out how to feel like you still dating and shit like that when you in a real relationship and you've been with a woman for as long as I have. You got to figure out ways to really kind of keep this thing going and shit like that, to really show that the love is still fresh and you know what I mean, always brand new and shit like that. Else it's going to be stale and it's going to burn out and shit like that from a person that's been with a woman for so long as I have and shit like that. You know what I mean? But dealing with a woman is tricky, man. It's, you know what I mean? Like,
talk about it.
They say happy wife is a happy life. You know what I mean?
Now I got a crazy hypothetical situation for you. You, Chrissy, and Mama Jones walk into the car. Who's getting into the passenger seat?
Oh, Chrissy is.
Okay. Mama getting in the back?
Yeah, unless my mom's jumping in front, it's like to her and Chrissy. Like who knows? But if in that situation, yeah, Chrissy's my woman. She gonna jump in the front. Mom gonna jump in the back and drive us crazy. We ain't got no problems in our family like that. There's no struggle over the son and over. You know what I mean? Nah, we don't go through that. We've been through things like that and shit like that. You know what I mean? But overall, my moms know that. You dig? Like it's two different loves there. You dig? But I'm definitely with my lady, and that's how it goes. You dig?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hear people put that situation in a lot of situations, but that's your mother. You heard? First of all, you heard? Like that love is you love your mother, but this is your woman, a woman that you stay with, and a woman that you love with, and a woman that you know what I mean? Like so, it's nothing wrong with moms getting in the back.
A lot of times you mentioned losing it all. What does losing it all? What does losing it all look like to Jim Jones? Because when you say losing it all, I'm thinking you still got $4 or $5 million up. When was
the first recession? 08?
Like 08, 09, I think.
Right? I remember in like 08. So in like 07, I started getting tremendous, all type of money. Biggs from Rocafella was like, this is one of the few people that I call my OG. Maybe the only one. He's the only fair real nigga that I know that's older than me pretty much. But he was like, yo, it's about to be a recession, bro. I don't know if you know what that is, but stack you some money because it's going to get cold out here. Like, yo, I'm like, I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, I'm getting so much money right now. I got money invested, all that type of shit, and got Merrill Lynch, all that type of shit, man. I ended up losing my head like through Merrill Lynch or some shit like that. Like it was like, oh my God, chopped me all the way down.
All the way down to what?
Chopped me down to like maybe like 1.2 something that I had just in my account with my account and shit like that. And remember, I'm upwards of $100,000 in bills every month and shit like that. So it was like I ain't gonna talk about the money that I lost, but just it was like yo, what? Like, you do certain things to keep you in pocket for life, especially when you're dealing this game and you playing with these banks and they telling you these numbers of interest and then a recession happened and then your accountant call you like, yo, remember the money we had invested is gone.
What's the craziest shit you had to do
Whoa.
to make sure that Christmas or birthday or Valentine's Day, nobody understood the pain you was going through? You know
I wish I could tell you, but
level.
I wish I could tell you. I can't. I would tell you this. Just know that I know how to dance very well. And I ain't talking about no stripper, baby.
I was about to say, hold on. Yeah. What's your thoughts about Dame right now, where he's at? I know we get to see a lot of the shit online. It look crazy, but you know him personally, so.
I know Dame personally. I don't fuck with him anymore, but
why you don't fuck with
Dame
him?
always been a smart dude, man. Maybe too smart for his own good and shit like that. He definitely caught a bunch of bad breaks in the game, and just to watch how it was unfolding, it feels kind of whack and shit like that to know that he was such a major part in what we know as the hip hop culture. Like he really helped shape it and helped shape one of the people that we've known to be the number one person in this game for a long time and shit like that. I mean, I can't tell you the ins and outs and shit like that. I have been around when I heard stories from everybody's mouth, from Biggs to Dame, like I heard, but it's not for me to talk about and shit like that. That's their business and shit like that, you know what I mean? But just to see him being so many of the things that he was doing, a lot of that feels like when I was doing so many crazy things for the sake of what we believed in as the diplomats and shit like that, you know what I mean? Like there was somebody that had to be the bad guy to get the point across, and then there was somebody who had to make him look good, and a lot of times I was the bad guy so that Cam could always look like the good guy and shit like that, and he was the face card and shit like that. And I believe that was like Dame whole shit too and shit like that. So moving forward and right now to see where he's at, it's like, shit's crazy. You dig? Like,
why you don't fuck with Dame no more though?
We went through some business shit where he didn't hold up his end of the bargain and shit like that, and I'm real keen on doing business with people that I love and do some bullshit.
What happened? You want to care to elaborate on that?
It ain't even nothing to put. I mean, like he just did some shit that I just don't agree with business wise. And when it come to money, I don't play with that. You dig? I need mine. I need mine. She could go left. You dig? So you know what I mean? I chose sometimes that's a small price to pay to not have to pay, not to have to go through none of that bullshit no more. You know what I mean?
All the artists now is like, big on going independent.
Mm-hmm.
You've been able to do label shit. You've been able to go independent route. I would love for you to like walk us through each situation, you know what I'm saying, and how that works.
It worked for me independently because we already had some hot. Diplomats was already a household name, so when I was asking Damon them for $1 million, they thought I was crazy. And I was asking for $1 million, I knew how to direct, engineer, I did everything, and I knew what I was worth, but they wasn't trying to hear me. But thinking about it, when I had just came back from Houston and shit like that, I had lived out there for a couple years. I had a club Dipset out there back in the days.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Hold on, no. When everything you've done accomplished, everything that you did, when he says no to $1 million, what goes through your brain?
Oh, I mean, it wasn't really nothing like that. In my brain, it was like, oh, word. All right, I was letting you off easy. Now I'm gonna show you why you should have gave me the $1 million. That's my attitude. Like, I don't let shit discourage me. It encourages me when people tell me no or try to block me from doing something I know I could do and shit like that. And I was telling Cam, like, shit. And Diplomats is the name. People are gonna go to the store to buy the record. They don't give a fuck who printed up. You heard? So we can go anywhere as long as there's a Diplomat bird on it. They're gonna buy it.
Right.
We could go independent, and that's when Koch was on the independent label at the time. But at that time, I didn't understand what their independent label mean. I wish I did. They were an independent label, meaning that they had the power of distributing other artists, but they were giving out real artist deals on the flip side to the artists that was coming to an independent label. We thought we was doing something like that when we really wasn't. You heard? we really was lying to the people this whole time and shit like that. We was getting a lot of money off of it, but it wasn't from an independent standpoint like where I'm at now, where I get 85-15 split, and I've been doing that for years and shit like that. But as far as putting in the work, it felt independent because we were our own entity and we did our own marketing and all that type of shit. And then we abused the budgets in that way and shit like that. We made millions off Koch and shit like that, you know what I mean? But it didn't serve me no purpose, as now, like, I don't own my masters from the records that I put on Koch. So, like, that's my next feat, is to fight to get my masters back. And that goes back to having the right leaders and shit like that, because there was a lot of things that I was supposed to know about so that I can reap the benefits of what I need now, that a person that had more knowledge than me or was acting like he had more knowledge than me, my man never put me on to a lot of different things in this game that I had access to that's rightfully mine and shit like that. So now going back, it's like, yo, nothing that we did was really it. You heard? Like, anything that I did with Diplomats was out the love of my heart. He said I was a CEO. I never had no paperwork. My name wasn't on nothing that I own. And his name was on everything. I never got no publishing checks for shit that I wrote down on everybody's album. I never got no writing credits. None of the type of shit that niggas get now and deserve to get and shit like that people was getting back then was none of the things that a nigga that's supposed to be my brother put me on to.
Right.
You heard? He try to blind you with little money and checks and shit like that. But that don't make you part of the business and shit like that. My name was never on nothing that had to do with nothing to do with Diplomats. You heard? I was an owner by right because I was a part and I started that shit. I named the name Diplomats and shit like that, you dig? But rightfully, business-wise, niggas don't do business right. So when I be looking and hearing shit like that, I laugh because I know how tough I am, bro. Like, don't do that, bro. I start exposing you and they may turn you into a bad guy out here. Don't do that, bro. You dig? Like, so doing all these joking and shit like that, I start get dead serious. But yeah, shit like that. You dig? Like,
so y'all hanging out together, y'all brothers, but there's two different double live shit going on. It's
I mean, I don't know if it's
like
double
you don't
live.
know what's going on the business side. Like, this is some shit we never gonna talk about, but we gonna kick it every day. That shit is crazy to me.
Now, you flip side, any artist that I ever had, I always put them in the best position they could be. Even with the dude that was locked up and shit like that, yeah, in the beginning, I took advantage of only thing I knew because that's what I learned from the leader that I had.
Who was locked up?
I ain't say, you know who's locked up, but we ain't gonna say that. You did one of the artists I had and shit like that. In the beginning, it was like that because I was taught from, you only know what you taught, you dig? So naturally moving forward in this game is to be sold, not told. I was blinding people with the money, but I paid people more than they was worth and shit like that. You dig? But on the flip side, I took advantage of the business. That was in the very beginning. And after that experience, I never ever took advantage of nobody else in my life when it came to doing business with music. Even with that, I relinquished the ownership of his publishing. You heard? Wow. Because I could have still owned his publishing right now if I wanted to and shit like that. But in my heart, I knew that's not the right. That's weak. That's weak nigga shit. You heard? Like that's not how you. I mean, and moving forward, like, and I've never like ask peso and shit like that. Like, I'm very delicate when I deal with artists or get in business with artists and shit like that, because I know how crazy it is with the game. I never want to feel like these artists think that I'm trying to take advantage of them, because I'm not. That's not what we're here for. We're here to do business together and shit like that. Like, I want to teach you some shit that they ain't teach me, so you could probably be more successful than I ever would be because you got the knowledge that I didn't have. And you can ask them. That's how I approach it. I really speak to these niggas. I really get these niggas game, like you dig, and I lead by example because I'm still outside active, super active.
It's hard to unlearn the shit that you learn, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
especially when they can pay so well.
But your heart tells you what's right if you got a real moral compass. Like I told you in the beginning, I grew up a little bit different, even though I grew up rough and shit like that. I got a real moral compass, and I really like to treat people good.
Yeah.
I don't got no evil in me like that. That way I want to treat people bad. It's never been me. Hurry, I beat a nigga up and try to help him up at the same time. You dig? It's like that's the type of nigga I am and shit like that. Like that's the last thing I want to do and shit like that. There was a time where we all go through what we go through, but overall who I am, like I ain't that type of person and shit like that. I don't like taking advantage of people.
Yeah, I seen you knock the nigga out walking down the steps. You probably tried to help him up too on the escalator. No, I definitely seen that. Dolo too. It seems like, you know, when I first used to see you out, and when you used to pop out, man, I used to see 100 niggas. And I'm sure it's still somewhat, man, but to see you pull up to this interview, it's a lot has changed.
I mean, I got older, man. I'm a grown-ass man right now. Like you said, I've been in this game so long. There was a time that I was ranting and raving around here with 30, 40 niggas everywhere I went and shit like that. And trust you believe right now we could make a phone call. And I believe about 30, 40 will still pull up. You heard? How many you think will still pull up right now? Peso, you heard?
200.
Nah, but you know, you get older and shit like that, and the way you used to move as a child is not the same way you move as a man and shit like that, and that's in life, you know what I mean? And there was a whole different era back then, and most of my comrades that I was running with are either dead or in jail right now and shit like that, you know what I mean? So I'm in a place where, man, I gotta lead by example and shit like that, you know what I mean? So
Jim Jones still here, respectfully, Justin Laboy show. This the part of the show. I meme everything I say. We gonna pull some memes up, Jim. You know, obviously I'm the meme god and shit out here in these streets. I want you to look at a couple of them dice. You could chime in on this one too. Want to hear your voice, nigga. Bronx, what's up? This is something that I thought could really relate and really, you know what I'm saying, something we could all relate to right here.
strangers will make you rich. Stop crying about family and friends not supporting you. That's a fact. I tell that to people all the time, bro. You dig? They say a prophet is never loved in his own home. When you go abroad, you get treated like a king. That shit is crazy.
Let's get to the next one.
Pat Poose be picking the woman you can send downstairs to see that noise was.
Shout out to Pat Poose,
man. Shout out to Pat Poose. Shout out to Remy.
This one right here.
What the fuck it say? Coming out of jail with no what?
With no muscles is insane. The fuck was you doing in there?
I gotta get some real glasses. My eyes fucked up.
Nigga ain't do no push-ups on nothing.
I know mad niggas that come home with no muscles. Like, nigga, what the fuck was you doing in there, bro? You came out here looking worse than you looked before you went in. Like, this is wild. Like, nigga.
How you do 10 years, come out of jail, out of shape? Fuck you doing in there, my nigga? It ain't that fun. Yo, this for Dice right here.
Just because I'm in your inbox doesn't mean you look good. I'll fuck some ugly too, dog. That's wild.
That's it.
I know a lot of niggas' attitude. Like, that was my attitude when I was younger. We ain't had no inboxes though, but I had an attitude like that when I was younger.
Sometimes you gotta get your confidence up and fuck you an ugly bitch. Yeah, absolutely. This shit said, you fucked me to sleep and really went through my phone. Jim, shit, it's truth, my nigga. Nah, time you went to sleep, shorty went through your phone.
I don't really play that. I don't really. get into that.
So nobody ever went through your phone before?
Nah, I don't do all.
You never went through a phone before? Keep it
nah,
100.
I ain't into that.
My nigga, you ain't gotta act tough. You went through that phone before.
Nah, bro. I'm not into that, bro. I ain't looking for nothing I don't want to see, bro. You better stay out them phones. It's a scary place, my nigga.
I went through a phone before. I went back to my birth weight, Jim. That shit had me at 100 pounds in a 2T.
Nigga got slim overnight.
Niggas thought I was on Ozempic. I had cancer. All that shit.
Bro,
had
because
me
I already
sick.
know, bro. Because already off the right argument, a nigga feel like he getting slim. You heard?
Yeah.
You heard? Off an argument. So, Matt, yo, bro, you.
Niggas can't even drive right.
Niggas be ready to crash, bro, man.
Hey, yo, Jim, man. You a legend. Thanks for giving us all this game. I feel like this one of them interviews everybody gonna really learn a lot from. To everyone out there watching this, thank you for tuning in. Respectfully, Justin Laboy Show, episode 1.
We want to take them uptown,
New
though.
York City. We about to go uptown to really get even crazier.
We coming uptown right now.
Yeah. Hold on, Jim. Before you leave, we got to pay the bills.
What we got to do?
Shout out to Dell and everyone at StockX for sponsoring the show. This is the first ever podcast ever sponsored all the way fully by StockX. You know what I'm saying? We got to shout out to the partners. Jim, what's your favorite brand at the moment right now?
Like what?
Clothing brand.
Clothing brand?
Like what you on these days? Are you still?
I really don't got no favorite brand per se like that. Like my favorite jean I would say is purple. I do like Casablanca. My man Sharaf be going off with the Casa. I like all. I mean, my fashion is different, bro. I like what I like. I don't care what it is. I could be in motherfucking CVS and see a T-shirt I like and shit like that, or go to Gucci and buy a jacket I like. It's all the same to me. Like I'm putting on genuinely what I like. I ain't got no rhyme style or nothing pattern. I do got a uniform and an aesthetic that I keep with them. You know what I mean? And that's it, bro. I go for broke.
Hey yo, shout out to Jim Jones. Respectfully, Justin Laboy Show. We rapping. We on the way to Harlem. We not done. The mobile lights is coming out.
Yeah, if Louis is closed,
nigga, we going somewhere.
We gonna go to El
Harlem.
Portos. You heard?
Let's do it, nigga. The whips,
we gonna get you
the whips is
acclimated.
outside. Let's do it.
That's just it.